Coming up next.
The voice is a very powerful tool. It has the ability to reach into every individual in the crowd and grasp at the emotion that the voice can convey. Let's meet one proud Cebuana, a versatile soprano vocalist who has had the grandest opportunity of getting her splendid voice heard with 7 albums, and she continues to inspire. Let's all listen and hear the voice of Lilac Caña. Ako si Paolo Varela. Mabuhi ka, Sugboanon. Versatile, classically trained vocal artist, dynamic performer, Lilac Caña inspires people with her music. From operatic, musical theater, to jazz and contemporary musical styles. She graduated with honors from the University of Toronto Opera Performance Program. She was a scholar with the American Institute of Musical Studies in Graz, Austria, and also trained extensively in classical, musical theater, and contemporary music styles with some of the world's best vocal coaches. Lilac Caña had the privilege of singing as soloist for Pope John Paul II during the World Youth Day 2002 with the Sacred Music Society. She has sung in the cathedrals of Toledo and Zaragoza in Spain, Fatima in Portugal, Avignon in France, and the Vatican in Rome. In October 2009, Lilac received the Performing Arts Humanities Award presented by the Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, John Onley, in recognition of her contributions to the arts and service to the community as a musician. She was also conferred the 2010 Pamana ng Pilipinas Award by President Benigno Aquino III for her remarkable achievements as a virtuoso performer in music and as a generous benefactor of many causes. A versatile voice definitely goes places. It inspires and gives us a glimpse of their inner soul. I'm very proud to be talking to a voice that has filled many cathedrals and great concert halls, heard by dignitaries and guests from all around the world. A true Sugboana, our very own Lilac Caña. Lilac, how are you?
I'm feeling great.
Well, I'm just gonna go and delve into it directly. You are a Cebuano soprano singer. At the same time, of course, you are very, very versatile. You do a lot of music, even doing modern renditions of different songs. You sing in different languages, so you are very, very talented. Yes, you are. I really want to delve into the question. When did you start to love singing? The artful way of singing.
Well, I was fortunate very much from the very beginning to have wonderful family. My parents, my whole family, my aunts. We have a very musical household. So ever since I was young, I've always been singing, but somewhere along the way, with the guidance of a lot of good teachers, both here and in Canada, where I'm based, we moved there when I just turned 8 years old. So I was born in Cebu, proud to be Cebuana, and also Canadian. So somewhere along the way, after high school, a very good teacher, a soprano in Canada, the first to have a career with the Canadian Opera Company, whose name is Eleanor Calbas, and also Evelyn Mandak, who is a world-renowned Tagalog soprano in New York. They both instilled in me the need to really focus on classical music. So I love all sorts of music, but somewhere along the way I really fell in love with opera, with classical music. And from then on, I moved on to the Canadian Opera Company, but now I'm singing other kinds of songs, jazz, musical theater, contemporary.
What made you love classical music, especially singing in opera?
I mean, as much as I love pop music, we all love a good tune. You know, you put the radio on and there's the latest top tune, right? And everyone's humming it. But it only goes so far, whereas classical music is deeper and it touches us in our soul. in ways that we can't even explain sometimes.
I mean, being a Filipino and performing in a crowd, that's different. Now, I know that you grew up there, but at the same time, you do have a voice. And does that make you stand out in a certain way?
Well, that's the thing. For many years, I felt like an odd duck, because, the expression. Most Filipinos love pop music, musical theater, which I love too. I was the only Filipina in the Canadian Opera Company at that time. And everyone else was, European or Canadian, born. So I felt like, why do I love this? But it was such a pleasure to be on stage with some of the best singers in the world. It's wonderful. It's very freeing.
As a singer, what do you consider to be your strengths? Especially when it comes to performing. What gives you the confidence? How do you perform?
Well, I always try to connect with the people. Kay, pareho raman ta sa tibuok kalibutan bisag unsang atong background, what culture we are. So it's all about the emotions, the things that we share, the human experience. Love, loss, sorrow, hope, all these things. So when you connect to the music of the song, and whatever language it's in, whatever style it's in, if you can convey that truly, be real, right? Be just a human being. Then you're sharing that. Then that's what helps to make the music alive.
I think that what marks a great singer is when you get to liven up the emotions in a performance to the audience and make them felt. Because there's a lot of really, really good singers with great voices, but it's the manner of how they express the emotions and how they get them to convey their emotions. I think that's where the trick is at.
It's a challenge kasi sa una kay emote man tayo, sobra ka emote, like when we were like teenagers, you're I'm a very passionate person, and one of my teachers said you have to just distance yourself. Don't feel so much like mutyabaw na lang ka instead of singing, right? Like it's a song about something, so there's techniques to do. Just like an athlete, you have voice exercises, you have mental exercises, so that when you're performing, you're now using everything, your mind and your heart and your physical.
It kind of defines your career in a certain way. I mean, if you really want to keep singing, you got to do it right.
Yeah.
In a way, yes.
Yeah, sure.
It's nice also that you still speak Bisaya. Of course, you transferred at a very young age.
Yes.
So, how Cebuano are you? I mean, when it comes to your singing.
Well, I always include in my program, whether or not it's, if I'm singing a classical program with Brahms and Mozart and I will always include kundiman, mga Filipino, Bisaya, and Tagalog, Bicolano, something of a hint of our culture. I'm very proud of that. And I've had the pleasure of studying with some of our best teachers here in the Philippines, so, and also in New York and in Toronto. For example, Dr. Raul Sunico is a mentor. He's now the Dean of Music at UST, and he taught me a lot about kundimans and our Filipino heritage of beautiful music, and the composers that we have, Santiago, Abelardo,
It's great how rooted you are. I mean, I would have to say, it's great how rooted you are, even in the musicality of Filipino culture, which you still bring everywhere. You have it on your CDs. You do have Cebuano songs. I mean, particularly Cebuano songs in your albums.
Well, some of these ones, for example, this one right here, this album was commissioned during the centenary of the Philippine independence, and it has some of the classic songs. And I just drew from, again, experience. My auntie had taught me some of these songs. I remember my Lola singing some of these songs. So I researched it and I said, wow. And I really found the pieces, yung mga pieza, and I studied it, and I asked my teacher, what's the best way to do this run or kanimang style diri. So it's really fun.
To make the whole picture of you as a singer complete, of all forms of art. I mean, you're a performer, yes, but What is it about singing? I mean, apart from expressing,
Yeah.
what makes you a singer?
What makes me a singer? Well, God gave me this voice, and I want to share it. I think that singing is very basic, really. It's very primal. It's like a cry, you know, the angels cry. You know, we have a digital, technologically advanced world now. We can create things visually and you know, synthesize kinds of sounds. But the human voice is and will always be very direct form of communication because it comes from within. It's very visceral. So it's physical and it's emotional and it's spiritual. So I think that singing is very essential.
And it's nice that you were able to say how spiritual singing can be, because as a matter of fact, I believe this is one of your means. You sing not just as a career in itself, but at the same time, you go all over the world to perform, but mostly for a cause.
Lately, it's become that way, and you know, I think because we have to wake up also, right? It's not me, but the Spirit through me, and the Holy Spirit through me, and I ask always for guidance, and I'm a deeply spiritual person, and I believe that God is leading me, you know, wherever it is. So I've had the pleasure of being asked to sing, Lilac, you know, can you come and, you know, such and such a charity, we would like to raise funds for this, and it would be nice to have a great concert, we will sponsor you, and then, you know, the proceeds of that concert will help our cause. I say, sure, you know, why not? We have the chance to make music, we inspire people, and we are also helping, you know, somehow.
You know, with great talent comes a great heart. You have to have a great heart.
Well, we hope, yes.
And thank you very much for doing so, actually. What can be your most memorable moment as a singer? And not just as a singer, but in your career as a performer in these years. What has been your most memorable moment?
Well, it's a once in a lifetime thing, you know, when I have had the pleasure of singing for Pope John Paul. When he came to Toronto in 2002 for World Youth Day, I was asked by the conductor of the 500 voice choir, 500 people in the voice choir, Sacred Music Society, to be one of the soloists. So during the Mass and during his gatherings, there were at least 800,000 people there and broadcast worldwide. That was an amazing instant where you felt connected to everyone in the world through this holy man and all the youth in the world. So that was amazing. That was like awesome.
How did it feel?
It felt heavenly. I can't imagine another word.
Do you feel that there's a certain, especially with opportunities like that, do you feel that there's a responsibility in you to keep doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. Even in my lowest moments, you know, because it's not easy to be an artist. We're kind of a little different, you know, and you know, I mean, you have to be inspired. You have to keep working. It's not glamorous all the time. You have to keep working at it. One may not always make a living doing it, and yet we go by the grace of God, right? So the thing is to keep sharing it and wanting to share it and wanting to grow and wanting to learn, because you can reach a certain level of success, and then you may just coast for a while, but then there will always be another challenge. So you have to be open to the challenge, to grow, to learn, to share. So it's constant.
What's the biggest challenge that's been thrown at you?
Well, I think one is the whole notion of believing in what you're doing. Sometimes you can have doubt, you know, or you just get tired, because You know, people download songs for free, or they ask you to do things. Financially, it's also very tricky, you know. I'm very grateful to have benefactors and the support of my family and friends so that I can keep doing it.
I think that's one of the most meaningful ways to maintain an artist's career. If you keep doing what you're doing and you get noticed, not because you keep doing it, but because of how you do it, that they get to notice it, as a matter of fact.
You always have to have the love. You have to, the why is the most important. Why am I doing this? So you have to always renew it, renew the love. That's what it is.
It's great because despite the fact that you did get to immigrate at a very young age, you still are very Filipino.
Of course.
Indeed. I mean, you were also, of course, like what you said, as an artist, you do perform, and awards, they just come as long as you keep it going, if they come, when they come. But in your case, it did come, and it's come in very, very good waves, I would have to say. You were given the Pamana Award, Pamana ng Pilipinas Award, by the President, none other than the Filipino President, of course, Noynoy Aquino. And,
Yes.
this was in 2010.
Yes.
How did it feel receiving that?
It was a great honor. I mean, I never thought, you know, that if you, my teacher, one of my teachers said, just do one thing well and love it and do it really well, and things will come. So that was a great honor. That was a highlight as well. It was an honor to be among people, Filipinos from all over the world, who are trying to make a difference as well. All doing things in different areas, the arts, technology, sciences, really amazing. Yeah.
Apart from recognition on our own Philippine land, but at the same time, you're also given recognition in Canada.
Yes, among
National
other things.
Ethnic Press and Media Council of Canada
Right.
for Performing Arts
Right.
and Humanities.
Yes.
Is this because of how much help to society you've done with your career?
I suppose. I mean, I'm instrumental in helping. I just like to be involved in the community. I mean, this is my life. I mean, I avail myself, and different Filipino and non-Filipino communities have asked me to sing. For example, the Trillium Gift of Life, which is about research for science, you know, when people donate their organs. That was a really interesting, eye-opening thing. There's the Food for Children, Canadian Food for Children, who helps children in Africa, South America. There's the Catholic Missions of Canada. There's many different organizations that, you know, music is very, I guess it's instrumental too in helping people be inspired and also to help raise awareness.
So the award that you won from Canada isn't just an award as a Filipino for Filipinos, but it was as a Filipino for the general public.
Yes, yes, yes. So that was an honor as well.
I mean, it's definitely not easy to be recognized just by doing what you love to do.
Well, I don't really look for it, you know, like I just do what I do, and then someone says, we should give you an award. I said, well, okay, sure.
Very, very
Yes,
interesting indeed.
yes.
You do not just fundraising outside and anywhere else, but you also did a huge part, especially in the recent calamity of Sendong, for Cagayan and Iligan. You
Yes,
actually did
yes, yes,
a
in
bunch
Toronto.
of fundraisers actually for that.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, we respond. And
Was it
so-
the Filipino community effort?
Filipino community in Toronto?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was a concert for the benefit of everybody here.
Yes, yes. And we raised some funds there. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, all right. Something to break the ice. I have about 8 questions.
Oh my God.
And I just have 8 questions. These are
8
these are the
questions.
best things.
Okay.
That what you consider.
Sure.
Whether it's from singing down to little aspects of your life.
Okay.
First question: what can you consider to be a best experience apart from singing?
I love to travel. I love to travel. I love experiencing cultures and seeing the world and to see our differences and similarities. I love the cuisine. I love history. So travel is very, very amazing experience, and I would love to do it as long as I live.
Of course, while the singing
Yes.
is going, the traveling gets you a lot of places
Yes.
too, indeed. What's the best thing that you believe in? As general as that, what's the best thing that you want to say that I believe in this very much and I want to share it?
I believe in love, and I believe in family and friends, and the importance of really connecting to the most important thing, which is love with your faith. You know, like remembering why we're here on earth. So I think that, yeah, so faith is very important, faith in our Creator, and just to be in a state of love, you know, whether or not you're in a relationship or not, but just to be always connected to that feeling and to that, it's not just a feeling, but it's a reality, to know that you are loved and that you have the capacity to love.
The sweet disposition of love. Yes,
Right.
very nice. What is one best thing about having a great voice?
Well, one best thing, you know, without being mayabang or, you know, it's just such a thrill. It just feels so good to sing and to make people happy. And if you can hit those notes and you're a messenger. So if you can share the message to people, it's a lovely feeling.
Whether it's an individual or a crowd, what's a best reaction that you got out of your singing?
Whether the crowd is small or big, when people are genuinely, you can just tell that, you know, it's priceless. Like when they really are moved by the song, or, you know, you help them to cry, or you help them to laugh, or just to feel ecstatic and uplifted, that's...
Of course, you connect because you see them.
Yep.
So you feel what they're feeling.
Yes, it's like this, it's like a...
There.
Ganun, right?
Indeed.
I remember one time with Canadian Opera Company, there were about 12,000 people in the room with the orchestra and the singers on stage, and like the wave of applause, like the wave of applause causes you to also give more. It's just like that. It's like it's like that. And same with you know, with the World Youth Day with Pope John. Not just the music, not just the applause, but the feeling that we are all sharing this special moment of faith. It's awesome. Yeah.
What's one best cause that you would want to support, and what's a cause that you're willing to put yourself out there?
One best cause. Well, these are tricky questions. There's so much, you know, you can do. But I do believe in this, it will be probably a lifelong thing, because my family is very involved, you know, with this ongoing mission of the sisters, the Immaculate Mary Queen of Heaven mission. It's to help women and children who need it the most. It's something that I believe strongly in, so we can that will continue, for sure.
What is one best trait in terms of character that you would want to teach people who watch you? Not just performers, but people who will be watching this, people who will learn from you, and people who will experience your talent?
I think it would have to be music that touches the soul. So music that takes you to a higher level of connection with the divine.
What is one best thing about Cebu?
Cebu.
Cebu.
There's so many good things about
How
Cebu.
about just one?
Cebu is very unique because we have both, you know, an urban kind of lifestyle where you can have a taste of the world, cosmopolitan na ang Cebu, but it's still very natural. If only the unspoiledness of the beaches. I love to swim, and I snorkel and I scuba dive. So one best thing about Cebu is the sea. If you have to put it that way, the beaches, and if we can, please, you know, I really hope nga ma-protected ba ang environment nga dili ma-spoil. We have to really guard that. That's a treasure.
Keep it the way it is.
It's the treasure in the world.
And of course, no matter where you go in the world, no matter what they have. There's always something different when it comes to Cebu, and I think that's what you love the most.
Definitely.
My final question on the things that you consider best. What is one best line from any of your songs? It has to be a sample.
That's a hard one. There's so many different ones.
You've sung a lot of songs,
Yes.
but there's always that, oh yeah, I really like singing this
There's
part.
like a million songs. Like, for example, in Puccini, there's a song from La Boheme where Mimi sings, Come il mare profondo ed infinito, se mio amor.
Amor, in the
Like,
end. Right?
like the sea that is profound and infinite, so is my love. And
I
she
really
sings
felt
that.
my insides, you know? But what compels you to keep doing what you're doing?
You know, I love being alive, just living life to the fullest. So music is like breathing. So as long as I'm alive, I will try to make music. That's what it is.
You know, for people to gain insight in terms of how you've carried off with your career, and at the same time, how you're helping a lot of people with your career, what would you want them to learn from your career and from how you've carried off with your singing ability?
Well, I think that you really need to develop a true connection to the source of it all, which is God, which is your faith, you know, because the Creator is the one who gives us everything. This all comes from God. So you have to have a lot of faith, because there will be trials up and down, and you'll want to quit so many times, you know. So definitely that's one main thing that you have to develop, and to be able to adapt, and to be able to listen to the call, and to be led, and to be willing to learn and change. Yeah.
I like that, to be led.
Yep.
If there's anything that you would want to keep the younger generation in terms of the singing and how they can carry off with their careers, what is the one thing that you would want them to keep on doing? What can make them achieve for you?
You have to have passion. There comes a point where it's not even logical why we're doing this. You just have to leap all the time, faith, you know. Go for it and be persistent, and really explore all the avenues that you have. See the long road of it, you know, and have a plan, but also have a lot of passion. Passion will take you far.
Passion will take you far.
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, I'm gonna ask the question again. How Cebuana are you?
I'm very Cebuana.
Can you sing for us just a few lines, just right before we wrap things up? Can you sing for us a few lines in any of your Cebuano songs? Yes, please.
Well, this is a favorite over there, and it's on one of my recordings. Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Sa kabukiran, layo ang kasakit, ang kalanggaman ay nanagawit. Mauwi ka indig, mga paghadla, mga paraig ahay, mga hudya ka. Ang hinuyoy, naglanoy-lanoy, sa kadahunan o kabulakan, sa kadahunan o kabulakan. O kinabuhi, London kalipay, gawas hamili, uway ikagmahay. O kinabuhi, London kalipay.
Bisag asa man ka malagpot sa kalibutan, proud Cebuana. Mabuhi ka Sugboanon. Indeed, salamat kayo, Lilac Caña.
Salamat.
Thank
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
You have a great voice.
Thank you.
I still feel it.
Salamat.
In every opportunity that we face, we always ask ourselves the what's, the why's, trying to find out the reason why we do what we do. Lilac Caña, despite growing up in a different land, never forgot who she was and who she is, a Cebuana. And from her great voice and experience, we learned to never forget why we do what we do. And in so doing, we find the reason that we mostly ask ourselves of. And by recognizing where it all comes from, we understand what it's all for. Let your voice be heard. Ako si Paolo Varela. Mabuhi ka, Sugboanon!